Hello, Padawans. I'm your Jedi Master today, and it's time, guys. We have finally finished Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi, the miniseries that took place between episodes 3 and episodes 4 that were supposed to follow Obi-Wan during his time of exile. And, well, how was it? Honestly, a mixed bag. Let's be clear here. Not everything inside of Obi-Wan was a bad thing. There were a lot of good ideas inside of here, and there were some even great ideas that I think, if executed better, would have maybe led to a more immersive and more Star Wars-like experience. But as it stands, it is very mixed. And a hot take here that I'm going to make. The last 2 episodes are actually the worst. Now, I understand that many people dislike episode 4 of the miniseries. It is the episode that they jumped the shark on. And I will completely agree with that. They definitely jumped the shark on. There's a lot of ridiculousness that goes down. Like, there's just no logic that goes into that entire episode. But the last 2 actively dismantle the current lore. I know that's going to sound weird for me to say that, but the fact that, one, Luke gets chased down by an Inquisitor, where he may or may not have seen a lightsaber at some point, and then also he doesn't know that he's being chased, and he doesn't know what the Force is by the time that A New Hope comes out. Also, Leia doesn't understand the Force, but she knows what the Jedi and the Force are in this show, and what a lightsaber is. But in the original trilogy, Leia does not. And there's many of these gaps in logic that get followed. And to me, it brings down the overall experience of the show. Personally, I think they should have just stuck with, showing us a more personal story, something that didn't involve Luke and Leia. Something like, Darth Vader's about to find Luke and Obi-Wan's having to constantly keep Vader away. This would have been a much smarter idea. But as it stands, it just feels like there's this huge leap in logic. Like, I understand that the children are, the twins are 10 years old at this point. But by the time that they're 19, they're gonna remember this stuff that went down. They're not just gonna magically forget it. And I don't even know how to really put this into words, but Leia is like this character who is supposed to be the future of something, but then Luke is the actual future of something. They don't really delve into it that well. Obviously, Leia is very responsible for the rebellion and is responsible for the rebels in the sequel trilogy. That much is established. The big problem comes in where we have now a series that takes place that is trying to make both of them have a story arc without knowing each other. And it doesn't really work. So let's go ahead and jump into the characters really quick. So, Obi-Wan played by Ewan McGregor, fantastic in his role. He did a really good job. His accent was a little weird at times, but that's probably because he has not played Obi-Wan in a while. So I would not expect his accent to be back where it was in Revenge of the Sith. He sounds Scottish. He has a Scottish, because Ewan McGregor is actually Scottish. But he's playing a British character, so, other than that, nothing too bad. Hayden Christensen actually turns in a really good performance, which proves that the material he was working with wasn't the greatest. The direction he had wasn't the greatest in the prequel trilogies. And the other actors do a fantastic job as well. I think I've noticed that upon looking online and the podcast that me and my friends do, there have been people that have been actively bullying the young actress that plays Leia for her acting. And me personally, first of all, don't do that, guys. She's a young actress. She hasn't had many years of experience doing acting roles. She probably barely has had acting classes. But secondly, she's not bad, honestly. I thought she did a good job playing Leia. Now, Leia can be an infuriating character. Like, no doubt, Leia is a fantastic character, but she can be infuriating because she doesn't listen to anybody. It's a good trait and it's a bad trait at the same time, because there's times during the show that during the miniseries that you're just like, just listen to Obi-Wan, he's trying to help you, kind of deal. And it can become infuriating, but that's meant to be her. That's meant to be Leia, and it's purposely infuriating, so it's a good thing. Now let's talk about Reva, third sister. Wow. First of all, don't attack Moses Ingram's character, or her personally. Don't attack her personally. She's not a good actress. I will agree with that. I don't think that she did a good job in her role. I also don't think her character was that well written. She's meant to be this like super ambitious, like mean, hurt character, and none of it comes across all that well, to be perfectly honest. It is definitely more to do with bad writing than, her acting in that regard, but her acting doesn't help. Her default look is just in every scene, and she looks very uninterested to be there. There's only a handful of times that she shows anything that resembles emotion, and there's only once that maybe she shows a modicum of fear, and it just feels weird. She's just one of those people that I don't think that she can play the, villainous, monster role. It's not her thing, because she just goes to being annoying and having default, just default being a jerk. Because throughout the entire thing, I hated Reva's character, or Reva. I hated her character. I get that we weren't meant to like her character all that much, but by the end of it, you're supposed to sympathize with her. And I couldn't, because she was annoying. And she refused to listen to anybody. She kept doing what she wanted to do, even if it put the entire mission in danger. She would do what she wanted to do, and unlike Leia, where, Leia does it for ultimately the betterment of the rebellion, Reva does it because Anakin killed her friends when she was younger. So she puts other people's lives in danger. She is openly vicious. She doesn't take orders. And she is malicious towards those that are simply trying to help her because Anakin killed her friends. Now, don't get me wrong. I absolutely could understand that being a story arc, where she is so just passionate that it's broken her mind. But she's being shown as a semi-sane character. So what's the deal? Is it that she's like this super overdriven, insane character? Which, if that's the case, really play into that, like Maul from Rebels. He hates Kenobi because Kenobi stripped him of everything, and he was trapped in isolation for so long, it ended up driving him crazy. And it ended up perverting his hatred towards Obi-Wan to the extent that it actually drove him insane. It's good character development, it's good storytelling, it's good character writing. Reva's doesn't feel fleshed out. Because if she became an Inquisitor, she would already know that Anakin did what he did for the pursuit of power. So it just doesn't make sense. In my personal opinion, it just doesn't make sense. Now, let's talk about our characters that we're supposed to focus on for a second. Darth Vader, or Anakin Skywalker, and Obi-Wan Kenobi, or old Ben Kenobi. So, Vader did not strike me as being Vader in this miniseries. Don't get me wrong, definitely had the terrifying presence of Vader. Definitely played up the fact that Vader is this omnipresent evil and that Anakin is truly gone at this point. But this is 10 years removed from Revenge of the Sith. Now, if you remember, he actually channels his hatred into a more calm, collected manner by the time A New Hope is out. But a decade later, it should have already been shown like that. By this point, he would not have stopped chasing the rebellion in order to go after Obi-Wan Kenobi. By this point, he would understand, kill the rebellion. And so his character doesn't feel very normal in this miniseries. I also don't think that a lot of Obi-Wan's decisions towards the end made a lot of sense. The fact of the matter is that Obi-Wan is supposed to be, looking after the two twins. Yet he is able to look after one of the two twins who might have force capabilities, but he doesn't utilize that. And Leia? That doesn't make sense to me. It's just another reason why they shouldn't have had Leia be a character beyond just like a background character in this show. Now let's talk about some of the good. The choreography is great. The lightsaber fights, awesome. They don't make a whole lot of sense because the entire thing with A New Hope is Darth Vader says, or Anakin says, "When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master. Only the master of evil, Darth." Kind of deal. And it doesn't make a lot of sense that they fight at the very end and Obi-Wan wins. I mean, it makes sense that Obi-Wan would win, but it doesn't make sense that they would fight at the end and then Obi-Wan wins and walks away. So I'm not entirely sure why they decided to just throw this into the air at this point. There's a lot of confusing decisions inside of this show. I did think the camera work was pretty decent as well. And like I said, most of the acting is really good. The CGI is also incredible, of course. Though I do wonder why they didn't actually de-age Hayden Christensen, but did de-age Ewan McGregor. Because to me, Hayden Christensen does not look like Anakin from episode 2 and episode 3. He looks like old Hayden Christensen. He looks like 40-year-old Hayden Christensen. Who knows? But anyway, can I recommend the show? No, actually, I can't. Let me be very honest. I don't think that if you like the show, you are not a Star Wars fan. But I feel like the entire miniseries was just done just so that they could have something with Obi-Wan Kenobi, because fans have been wanting to see Ewan come back for a while. I would have much rather preferred a, sort of adventure style show instead of this hugely overdone, dramatic, stupid storyline. I would have loved to see Obi-Wan, like traveling with Luke, the times that Luke would, get out and be mischievous, and Obi-Wan, they would go on adventures together. Kind of like a serialized TV show type deal. I would have loved that. It would have been cool. But unfortunately, we got this. And me personally, I'm a little disappointed by it. This should have been a slam dunk, and it wasn't. And if you do enjoy it, I get it. I really do. There were times that I found myself enjoying it, so I understand. But to me, there's just too many gaps in the lore. There's too many gaps in logic that I just can't recommend it. So for Obi-Wan, I'm gonna have to give it a 5 out of 10. It is a mediocre product, and honestly, it is something that I didn't think was needed. Like, this entire storyline was not needed. I really hope that they don't bring Reva back, because it seems like they were maybe building another TV show. Please don't bring her back. She's a terrible character. And I'm sorry, Moses Ingram, you are not a good actress. But I'm going to go ahead and end it there, Padawans. If you did enjoy this, make sure to give it a big like. It does help out a lot. Tell a friend today about my Star Wars channel, because it's pretty awesome. And may the Force be with you. Always.